Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video, I am explaining about the requirements discovery. Right? So while explaining the requirement elicitation process, the first step in the requirement elicitation process is requirement discovery. While explaining that elicitation part, I told you requirement discovery is nothing but discovering the requirements, right, by interviewing with the stakeholders, right. But in this video I am going to explain that requirement discovery step in more detail, right. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like and share the video with your friends, right. So requirement discovery is the process of, right, discovering the requirements, right. How to discover the requirements? Suppose if I am developing a banking software, I can refer the already developed banking software. I can collect the requirements from that already developed banking software. I can use that same requirements to my software also. That is one technique. And also requirement discovery can be done by interviewing the stakeholders, system stakeholders. That means stakeholders, those who are directly or indirectly related to my software, a customer or a developer, right, test engineer, like that. I can interview them and I can discover the requirements. Not only that, I can refer the documentation or user manual of the already developed software, and if I read that document, I can come across with the requirements for my software also. Getting, guys? So to explain this, I am considering the system stakeholders for the mental health care patient information system. If I say a mental health care information system, there can be so many stakeholders and users, right. So firstly, the first stakeholder can be patient whose information is recorded in the system. Next, doctor, who is responsible for accessing the assessing and treating patients. Nurses, who coordinate the consultations with doctors. And next, medical receptionist, who manage patient appointments. So you can see here, these are all the stakeholders. By interviewing these stakeholders, I can collect the requirements, I can discover the requirements, right. Next, IT staff, who are responsible for installing and maintaining the system, right. A medical ethics manager, who must ensure the system would meet the current ethical guidelines. Healthcare manager, who obtain the management information from the system. Medical record staff, who are responsible for ensuring that system information can be maintained and preserved. See, these are all the stakeholders who are going to use your software. I can interact with these stakeholders, I can discover the requirements, right. For example, doctor may tell, right, his requirement, or nurses can tell their own requirements. Getting, guys? Next, so see, interviewing. So you can do the interviews. So in these interviews, while interviewing these stakeholders, what they will do means, the requirement engineering team puts questions to stakeholders. They will ask questions to stakeholders about the system, right. So they will ask the questions to stakeholders about the system that they use and the system to be developed. So once the questions are asked, stakeholders will give the answers to the questions. While they give the answers, definitely we can discover the requirements. Answers are nothing but they are going to explain their requirements. Getting, guys? If I say an interview, there can be two types in interviews: closed interview and open interview. Closed interview means where the stakeholder answers a predefined set of questions. Suppose that requirement engineering team will be prepared with some predefined set of questions. They will ask that questions, the stakeholder will just answer that questions. That is closed interview. Open interview means there is no predefined thing here, there will be no predefined questions here. Here what they will do means, the requirement engineering team explores a range of issues with system stakeholders. They will discuss with each other. There won't be a there won't be a predefined set of questions here. Only they will do discussions. Once they discuss, right, they will develop a better understanding with their needs. So open interviews are better than the closed interviews. Right, in open interviews we can do discussions, and thereby we can develop more number, we can discover more number of requirements. Getting, guys? Next, advantages. What are the advantages of interviews? Interviews are good for getting an overall understanding of what stakeholders do and how they might interact with the system, right? So if we do interviews with the stakeholders, I can clearly understand their their difficulties, and also I can clearly understand how they interact with the software and what are their requirements. I can easily understand those things if we do the interviews with the stakeholders. But along with advantages, we have a disadvantages also. So what are the disadvantages? However, interviews are not so good for understanding the requirements from the application domain. Getting, guys? That means it is hard to elicit domain knowledge during interviews for two reasons. Getting, guys? So application, with respect to application domain, I can't understand the requirements properly. For example, all application specialists use terminologies that is specific to a domain. That means it is impossible for them to discuss domain requirements without using this terminology. So if I say application specialist can be a developer, right? Developer will use the engineering terminologies. So our requirement collection team may not understand the technical terms, because our requirement team may not be aware of the terminologies that is used in engineering, because they are not application experts, they are domain experts, right? Getting, guys? If I say requirements regarding banking application, so our developers may tell with respect to software engineering programming, not with respect to banking domain, right? They may tell authentication feature instead of username and password. Authentication feature may not be understood properly by the requirement expert team, because authentication is the terminology used for username and password by the developer. Getting, guys? Right? They may won't understand this, right? Next, and some domain knowledge is so familiar to stakeholders. Sometimes what happens means the stakeholders, right, they will face difficulty to explain what they think actually, right? And also sometimes they think that isn't worth mentioning. They may skip some requirements. Stakeholders may assume that, hey, this is a common requirement, definitely they will include it, then why we need to say it? Sometimes the stakeholders will think like that. They won't say about that requirement, they will think they will include it without any problem, but we may miss it. Stakeholders think like that, they will include it, but we can miss it, right? They will think that we know about that, but chances are there we don't have any idea about that. For example, for a librarian, suppose assume that I'm developing a library related software. For that, a librarian, right? For a librarian, it goes without saying that all acquisitions are catalogued before they are added to the library. For a librarian, he know that all the titles are catalogued before added to the library. But as a developer, I may not know that all the books are catalogued, right? So I may skip that. I may not taken into account the requirement. Librarian may assume that, hey, he know that, right? He know that he will add that feature, but chances are there I may don't have any idea regarding that. And also one important thing, if you do the interviews, you can discover the requirements with respect to the end users or the customers. You can easily discover the requirements with respect to customers, but what about the organizational requirements, and what about the conditions regarding organizational requirements, right? Organizational requirements are also needed, right? You can't discover this organizational requirements if you do the interviews. Only you can discover the customer requirements, but along with the customer requirements I need organizational requirements also for the proper working of the software. That's why, right? So this is another disadvantage. You can't discover organizational requirements here in the interviews, right? Hope you are understanding the concepts, guys. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. And one more important thing, effective interviewers have two characteristics. If I am an interviewer, suppose if I am a good interviewer, I should be open-minded. Then I can say that I am a good interviewer, right? Good interviewer or effective interviewer are open-minded, and they avoid preconceived ideas about the requirements, right? And they are willing to listen to the stakeholders, right? If the stakeholder comes up with the surprising requirements, they are willing to change their mind about the system. They are open-minded, right? They can adjust. If the stakeholder may come across with a better requirement than the interviewer, he may change his mind and he include that requirement. Getting, guys? You should be open-minded. You should always listen to the stakeholders. Getting, guys? Next, second characteristic is what? They prompt the interviewee to start discussions with a question, a requirement proposal, or by suggesting working together on the prototype system. In simple words, they encourage the interviewee to start discussions. Once they discuss, they can discover more requirements, right? They encourage the interviewee to start the discussions. This is a good sign, and they should be open-minded, right? Getting, guys? So these are the characteristics of an effective interviewer. Next, scenario. What is a scenario? Scenario can be particularly useful for adding detail to an outline requirement descriptions. While discovering the requirement, I may collect the outline requirements. So I can use the scenarios, right, to add the detail to that requirements. Scenarios are nothing but they are descriptions, right? They are descriptions of example interaction sessions. For example, in simple words, scenarios covers interactions. Scenarios covers interactions. You will understand this when I give the example in the later part of this video. So each scenario covers one or more possible interactions. Interaction means a user can interact with the software, right? That interactions, different types of interactions. Software can interact with the user, right? So these interactions, these scenarios add some additional details to the requirement document. I will explain that, right? The scenario starts with the outline of the interaction, and during elicitation details are added to create a complete description of the interaction at its most general. See, if I say a scenario, what are the parts of the scenario? What a scenario may include? So scenario may include a description of what the system and user expect when the scenario starts, a description of the normal flow of events in the scenario, a description of what can go wrong and how this is handled. Getting, guys? So these are related to interactions. You will understand once I take the examples. Information about their activities that might be going on the same time, a description of the system state when the scenario finishes, right? So I will take the example, you will understand that. So in scenarios there are two types, sequence diagrams, use case diagrams. So use case diagram or a sequence diagram, they will cover the interactions with respect to the software. Internal interactions or external interactions. Internal means components within the software can interact. External interactions means user and the software interactions. You will understand that once I take the example. So scenario based elicitation can be carried out informally, where the requirements engineer works with the stakeholders to identify scenarios and to capture the details of the scenarios. Right? While discovering the requirements by interviewing the stakeholders, the scenarios can be captured informally. Informally means there is not a rule, we don't have any rules that scenarios should be captured. But if you capture the scenarios, definitely it will add the details to the requirement. That's why while carrying out the requirement discovery, you can carry out the scenario based elicitation also, right? Scenarios may be written as text, supplemented by diagrams, screenshots and so on. Scenarios, you can write the scenarios as a diagrams also, you can write the scenarios as a text also, right? All these are nothing but possibilities how to write a scenarios. You can write a scenarios as a text or a diagrams also, screenshots also. Getting, guys? Now I will explain the scenarios with the example. I already told you use case diagram and the sequence diagram use scenario based approach. Scenario means what? Scenario, in simple words, it covers interactions. See, yeah, use cases. Use cases are a scenario based technique for requirement elicitation, right? So in the simplest form, a use case identify the type of interaction and the actors involved, right? So see here, so this is the use case diagram for the mental health care patient system. You can see here medical receptionist, nurse, manager and doctor are nothing but actors. So these are nothing but end users, right? So you can see their interactions, the lines are nothing but the interactions between the user and the software. You can see medical receptionist actor, right, can register the patient, can view the personal information. See, these are nothing but scenarios. Register the patient is one scenario, one interaction. View personal information is one interaction. See, medical receptionist is interacting with the software to register the patient. That line is nothing but a shows interaction. Medical receptionist can view the personal information. Getting, guys? So actors are nothing but the people who are directly or indirectly interacting with the software. They can use the software by interacting. That's why interaction. Getting, guys? See, use case encapsulates a set of scenarios, right? Use case identifies the type of interaction and the actors involved. You can see there interaction and the actors. Medical receptionist is the actor. Interaction means medical receptionist interact to register the patient. Medical receptionist is to interact, is going to interact to view the personal information. Hope you are understanding, guys. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. So use case encapsulates a set of scenarios and each scenario is a single thread through the use case. I already told you each single line is a scenario. See, medical receptionist can interact in two ways, that is two scenarios. Nurse can interact again two ways. See, nurse can view the record, nurse can interact to view the record, nurse can interact with the software to edit the record. View record and edit the records are nothing but scenarios. Getting, guys? In the same way, doctor can interact to generate the report, manager can interact to generate the report and also to export statistics, and also doctor can interact to set up the consultation. See, these are all generating the report, export statistics, these are all scenarios. See, interactions, how a actor is going to interact with your software. So use cases always cover these interactions. Use cases always covers the behavior, how a software is going to behave when an external actor interacts with your software. When a nurse interacts with the software, these interactions can be covered with some scenarios, right? View record, edit record, setup consultation, like that. Hope you are understanding, guys. Don't get confused here, please. Next, each single thread or each single line is a scenario, right? You know that. So use case identify the individual interactions with the system. You know that. So every use case, the register patient, view personal information, every use case or every scenario identify the interaction with the system, user interaction with the system. Getting, they can be documented with the text or UML models, right? So here whatever the notations I used, this actor symbol, the right man symbol, right, stickman, the stickman symbol is a right UML notation. Actually, to write the use case diagram you have to use this notations only. UML means unified modeling language. To write the diagrams, to convert your requirement into diagram, you have to write this type of diagrams, right? How to do that means to write each and every diagram, to write a flow chart or to write a sequence diagram or to write a use case diagram, you have to follow some notations. That notations are given by unified modeling language, right? You will come to know about UML in the coming videos, right? So the stickman, the vowel, the line, these are all notations. Getting, guys? Sequence diagrams along with the use cases. Sequence diagram can also be used to record the interactions. So you will come to know about the sequence diagrams in the coming video. Here we will concentrate only on use case diagram, right? So along with the use case diagram, sequence diagrams can also be used to record the interactions. Sequence diagrams show the actors involved in the interaction. Again, in the same way as use case, sequence diagram is also going to show the actors involved in the interactions, right? So overall the actors here: nurse, medical receptionist, manager, doctor. Getting, guys, right? And one more important thing in a sequence diagram is along with showing the interactions, it is also going to show the timing details also. In use case, it will only show the interactions, but sequence diagram will show the interactions along with the timing details also. I will explain about that sequence diagrams in next videos, right? So, and this is the example of a use cases for MHC PMS system, right? Hope you are understanding, guys. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section, right? So what is the advantage if you use this scenario based approach, if you use this use case diagrams, or if you use this sequence diagrams? What is the advantage? So scenarios and use cases are effective techniques for eliciting requirements for interactor viewpoints. So where each type of interactions can be represented as a use case. For example, if you use this type of approach, I can easily understand the user interactions, right? Interactor viewpoints, that means customer viewpoints, I can easily understand. See, right? You can easily understand how a customer is going to interact with your software, what are the features he needed, these things, their viewpoint, their users, customer users can I can understand here. Getting, guys? Next, they can also be used in conjunction with some indirect viewpoints, where these viewpoints receive some results. Very simple, I can use this scenarios based approaches, that is use case sequence diagrams, along with some other techniques also. For example, I can use data flow diagram, flow charts, along with the use cases or along with the sequence diagrams. I can use all this, right, viewpoints, all these interactions in conjunctions, because we can receive some extra details from the system, from the software we can receive, right? Disadvantages: what is the disadvantage? Because they focus on interactions, they mainly focuses on interactions, right? How the interactions will be, right? They are going to focus on interactions. They are not as effective for eliciting constraints. or high level business and non-functional requirements from indirect viewpoints. Very simple. Here disadvantage is they are going to they are going to focus on interactions. Only functional requirements they will concentrate. What about the non-functional requirements? Efficiency, reliability, ease of use. These requirements not be covered in this. Non-functional requirements will not be covered in this scenario based approach, that is in the use case and in the sequence diagram. We never concentrate on high level business and non-functional requirements, just we focus on direct interactions, functional requirements, right? Getting, guys? So if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section, right? Thank you for watching the video.